Have you ever wondered why pumpkin patches feel different at night? Why the wind goes silent when you step between the vines? Why the air feels colder even when the sky is clear? Every Halloween, people go missing around farmlands and their stories never sound the same. But if you listen closely, they all start the same way, with laughter. This one started when my best friend Kyle and I decided we were invincible. Two small town idiots with nothing better to do. Our town was surrounded by endless farmland scarecrows, cornfields, and the heavy smell of earth and diesel. Most people came to pick pumpkins. We came to steal them. The biggest patch belonged to old Mr. Harlow, a quiet farmer who'd lost his family in a fire years ago. They said he never slept, that he still talked to his wife and son through the fields at night. We thought it was just gossip. At 1 in the morning, under a pale moon, we crept toward his land. The dirt was soft and cold beneath our shoes. The silence felt wrong, like the night itself was holding its breath. When we reached the pumpkins, I finally relaxed. We'd done it. Then Kyle, being an idiot, pulled out his phone and turned on the flashlight. I hissed, "Turn that off." He laughed. "Relax, man. It's just light." That's when it happened. A single gunshot cracked the air. A pumpkin beside my leg exploded, spraying cold seeds across my jeans. We ran. Another shot. Then another. Kyle's flashlight bounced wildly as we dove into a ditch. We could hear footsteps. Slow, steady. Then a voice. Old, tired, but calm. "You shouldn't be out here after dark," it said. "They don't like it when you take what's theirs." I grabbed Kyle's arm and we bolted toward the truck. As the engine roared to life, I glanced back. Mr. Harlow stood in the center of the field, his rifle hanging loosely by his side. But his eyes, they weren't catching light. They were glowing. And behind him, in the spaces between the pumpkins, shapes began to move. Tall, crooked, shifting like shadows that didn't belong to anyone. That was the last time I saw that field. But sometimes I still dream about it. The glowing eyes. The whisper that followed us home, saying softly, "He warned you once. He won't warn you again." But that was just the beginning. Because a year later, another friend discovered what happens when the scarecrows stop watching. My name's Sam, and I used to spend every weekend at my best friend Ethan's house. His family was good people, the kind that prayed before dinner, the kind that believed faith could keep darkness away. One Halloween weekend, after staying up late playing games, we overslept and missed morning church. Ethan's parents told us we'd have to walk to evening mass instead. It was just a 15-minute shortcut through the pumpkin fields. The sun was sinking when we started walking. The field stretched forever, gold, orange, and quiet. Too quiet. Even the birds avoided that place. In the distance stood a single scarecrow. Its head was tilted, its arms limp. It looked tired. Ethan joked, "Guess it's had a long day guarding pumpkins." We both laughed, but the sound didn't echo. It just disappeared, like the air swallowed it. Halfway through, I looked up again, and the scarecrow was gone. Ethan stopped. "Wasn't it right there?" Before I could answer, the figure was standing again. Closer this time. My chest tightened. The sun dropped completely behind the trees. The scarecrow's pumpkin head caught the last light of dusk, and for a second, I could swear it moved. "Let's go," Ethan said. We started walking faster. That's when I heard something soft, like someone crying. It wasn't coming from Ethan. It was coming from the scarecrow. We froze. Then I saw it, a tear running down the pumpkin's carved face. It wasn't candle wax. It was blood. Ethan screamed and ran. I followed, but when I looked back, the scarecrow had fallen forward into the dirt. When we reached the road, Ethan wasn't beside me. I turned around and saw him kneeling in the field, shaking. The scarecrow was on the ground in front of him. I walked closer and saw what had fallen off. The pumpkin head. Beneath it was a man's face. Bruised, beaten, barely recognizable. It was Ethan's father. His eyes were open. His fingernails were packed with soil. He'd clawed at the dirt trying to free himself. He'd been alive when we first saw him. Ethan's scream wasn't just grief. It was the sound of a soul breaking. The kind of sound you never forget. The police said it was a robbery gone wrong. that he'd been strung up as a warning. But Ethan told me something else. He said that sometimes, at night, he still saw his father in that field, not hanging anymore, but standing, with the pumpkin back on his head. And when he looked at Ethan, he smiled. But that wasn't the only thing haunting the fields, because somewhere deeper, beyond the scarecrows, something else was waiting, alive and hungry. It was a Saturday afternoon. My little brother and I were stuck shopping with our parents. Across the street, a new sign caught our eye. Free pumpkin maze, find the center, take what you discover. No booth, no tickets, just a wooden archway standing in the open field. We begged our parents to let us check it out. They smiled and said, 15 minutes, then come right back. The maze looked harmless. Tall cornstalks, carved paths, laughter echoing from somewhere deeper inside. But once we stepped in, the world changed. The air grew heavy. The light faded faster than it should have. Even the sound of the road behind us disappeared, as if the field had swallowed the noise. My brother joked, feels like it's watching us. I laughed, but the sound didn't feel like mine. Every turn looked the same. Left, right, left again. The pumpkins lining the paths looked rotten. Their carved faces twisted into shapes that didn't make sense. Then, for a moment, I heard footsteps behind us. We turned. Nothing. But the next time we moved, the footsteps moved too. We froze. So did they. My brother whispered, "Stop messing with me." I whispered back, "I thought that was you." Then came the breathing. Slow, wet, too close. I turned the flashlight behind me. No one, just corn swaying in the dark. We started running. Left, right, left, faster, desperate. The sound followed, always just a few steps behind. Then, a hand reached out from the corn. It grabbed my brother's hoodie and yanked him back. He screamed. I lunged, pulling him free, and we crashed onto the dirt path. He was crying, shaking, saying, "It wasn't a hand. It was cold. It wasn't human." We didn't stop running until we saw the exit. We stumbled out onto the main road, panting, sweating, terrified. But when I turned around, there was no maze, just a flat, empty field. No corn, no pumpkins, nothing, just earth. The police didn't believe us until they found a van parked nearby. Inside were ropes, duct tape, and blood on the seats. But no driver, no footprints, just strange marks in the mud, shaped like hooves. For weeks after, my brother wouldn't sleep. He said the breathing hadn't stopped, that at night he could hear it outside our window. Slow, patient, waiting. And every Halloween since, a new free maze appears in another town. No workers, no staff, always the same sign. And someone always goes missing. But what if the fields themselves aren't cursed? What if they're alive? Because what's buried beneath the pumpkins might not stay buried for long. A year after the maze incident, I moved away. Different town, different life. But the fear never really left. Every October, I'd see pumpkins lined up on porches, glowing with fake smiles. And every time, I'd feel that same quiet dread. The kind that settles in your bones before the mind can explain it. I thought maybe I was just paranoid. Until the letter arrived. No name, no return address. Just a folded piece of paper inside an envelope. And a dried pumpkin seed taped to it. The message said, "They've found new soil." That night, I had a dream. I was standing in the middle of a field. The same field from years ago. Only now, it stretched forever. The pumpkins glowed faintly under a blood-red sky. And somewhere beneath the soil, something moved. I knelt down, pressing my hand to the dirt. It was warm. And then I heard it. A heartbeat. Not mine. Not human. The ground began to pulse. And I realized the vines weren't roots. They were veins, feeding something that was still alive. When I woke up, my hands were covered in soil. Real dirt. And on my window ledge, a small pumpkin had appeared overnight. Carved, smiling. I threw it away. The next morning, another one was there. Bigger this time. I tried burning them, breaking them, burying them. But they always came back. Each one carved differently. Each one whispering my name when the lights went out. That's when I decided to go back. Back to where it all started. The drive took hours. But when I arrived, there was nothing left. No farmhouse, no maze, no scarecrows. Just a wide, empty patch of land. But in the middle of it, a single pumpkin. I picked it up, and the dirt underneath was soft, freshly turned. When I brushed it away, I found a hand. Familiar, old, calloused. It was Mr. Harlow's. And beneath it, bones tangled with roots. Dozens of them, human and not. That's when I heard the voice again. Soft, close. You shouldn't have come back. The air turned heavy. The ground shifted beneath my feet, and the vines began to move, curling around my legs like living ropes. I tried to scream, but the soil filled my mouth. The last thing I saw before darkness swallowed me was that same carved smile, a pumpkin face watching me sink into the dirt. And as the earth closed over me, I finally understood. The pumpkins don't just grow from soil. They grow from us, from what we bury, from what we fear, and every year, they bloom again, waiting for someone new to come close enough to feed them. So the next time you pass a glowing pumpkin at night, and you think you see its shadow move, don't stop to look closer. Don't touch it. Don't even breathe near it, because once it knows you've seen it, it remembers, and it always comes back.